sometimes I think we feel resistance, just as you said, it's very natural. But this question's more directed at, like, for my students, because some of them have this idea that they feel, they feel resistance, and they think, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm wasting my time by going on this pursuit. So how would you say you distinguish between resistance just being something we have to overcome, or perhaps a telltale sign that maybe this isn't for us?
Well, one of the things that you might want to remind them is why they started in the first place. A lot of people, they start something because the spark, the divine creative spark is there. Like, you really actually are doing the right thing. You're moving in the right direction, but it's going to be tough. And inevitably, you're going to bump up against resistance. You're going to bump up against challenges. It's going to be tough. And you got to remind people, and sometimes, you just got to be honest with them, and you got to tell them straight up that this is not easy. This is not going to be easy. You're taking this course with me, and there's going to be times that you don't want to do it. And you want to warn them right ahead of the time. Say, look, there are going to be times where this is going to feel like you're pulling teeth. There are going to be times that it's going to be very difficult. But always remember why you started. Start with the end in mind. So whenever somebody gets on a journey, they can envision, I'm speaking English, right? Because that's what you do. You teach people to speak English. I'm speaking English. I'm having conversations with people. I'm making videos. I'm traveling. Boy, it's amazing. If you could bring them back to that original spark, maybe that'll give them a little more inspiration to keep going.
Amazing, amazing. One other question for you is about, I think you're someone who's very knowledgeable. You've learned a lot over the years. So how do you retain that knowledge, the knowledge that you learn, so you're able to just quickly recite it and tell people? Do you have a particular method for retaining the things that you learn?
Man, I don't have a method. What I think happens is when there's something I'm really into, I go down rabbit holes. I go deep into something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's more of an emotional thing where, like, if I'm excited about it and I devour it, it just becomes a part of me. If I don't care about it and I'm trying to learn it for some reason that really isn't mine, it doesn't stick. It won't stick. Also, just knowing myself over the years, there are certain ways that I learn, and there's certain ways that I don't learn. There's certain authors that I can read, and there's certain authors I can't read. I could read a book on a topic by one guy, and I'll devour that book, and I'll memorize it because while I'm reading it, I'm engaged. I think it's the engagement. Like, I feel engaged by it. I can read a book on the same topic by another author, and my eyes just start glassing over. I just start feeling like I can't concentrate on it. This happened yesterday. Yesterday, I was looking for a book. I like reading books on the early church fathers, like the first and second century saints and the fathers. I get excited about reading those guys' stories. They're usually old books. And so I was looking for one. It looked pretty cool. The cover was great. And I tried to download the Kindle. I tried to download a sample of it, but the sample just kept getting corrupted. So I was like, all right, screw it. Because I usually have to read the sample first to know if I'm going to like the book. And I downloaded the book. So I was like, all right, it was like $14. It was more an expensive Kindle book. Download the book, and like 10 pages in, I'm like, I can't retain any of this. I'm not going to remember any of this because it was just so academic. I don't do well reading academic writers. The guys that write in very academic ways. It's just not my nature. I can't. Like textbooks, I can't remember textbooks. So I think a part of it, there's a really good course by Brian Tracy called Accelerated Learning Techniques. And he explains how learning is multifaceted. Learning requires not just you reading stuff and putting it in your brain like a container, but to be emotionally engaged with it. And so there are various different, you got to know what kind of learner you are. Do you do better by listening to audiobooks? Will you remember things better that way? Or do you need to watch videos? Or do you need to read the book? Or do you need to do all three? Do you need to, I highlight. When I read books, I never read without a highlighter. I always read with a highlighter. Sometimes I take notes in the column, you know. So these are all
Sure.
various accelerated techniques for helping you to absorb the material a little bit better.